Hey guys, in today's video we're going to learn how to make this beautiful halter neck tube dress with straps. If that's what you want to learn how to make for yourself, then keep watching this video to the very end. Let's head straight to it. Firstly, you'll be needing your basic bodice front and also your basic bodice back. So I'll keep the back away. I'll set it aside so that we can start with the front first. So now the first thing that we're going to do on our basic bodice front is to determine the depth of the neckline for the tube. So I'm going to be using this very point, which is actually the basic neckline. Like you want to make a shirt, you can decide to go down a little bit. Let's say from that very basic neckline, you can decide to go down by 1.5 or 2 inches is okay. Just 1.5 or 2 inches is okay. Then on the shoulder line, I marked 1 inch away and ½ inch also on it. I added fresh pattern papers to my very front neckline, and from the 1 inch away I marked from the shoulder, I'm going to be connecting it to this very point of the neckline like so. And this is what we are having now. So at this point I'll go ahead and use my scissors and disconnect this whole excess papers that we wouldn't be needing. And this is what we are having. Remember to come down 1.5 inches from your basic neckline for the front. Because we are going to be cutting out at this area, we have to contour the shoulder area. So we have to impute our shoulder contour that. After making the shoulder contour guideline like this, I'll go ahead to impute bust arc on that very line. And on that bust arc is where I'm going to be imputing the amount of that intake that I'll be needing for my shoulder contour that. After imputing the amount of that intake, I'll go ahead to connect this point of the shoulder and to this point of the bust point like so. So this is what the pattern is looking like at this very point. So now the next thing we are going to do is to start closing up that. Okay, remember there is a dart manipulation effect on this dress. So first thing, I went ahead to close up this very dart, the contour dart at the shoulder. I went ahead to close it up. Okay. As you can see, you notice that bulge at the bust point. Okay, we're relaxing everything as we go on in this tutorial. So the next thing I'm going to do is to cut open my side bust dart also. At this point, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do want to subscribe. Click the bell notification icon so you'll be the first person to know whenever I post love and drafting tutorials and also sewing tutorials like this. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to cut open my waist dart. Okay, now the essence of this whole thing is we are trying to get enough, enough excesses, like enough dart excesses, so we can do that manipulation effect on this design. We've closed the side bust dart and we have our waist dart open. So now I'm going to draw in the star line. From the bust point, I'm going to have to draw in the star line all the way to the waistline like this. And the next thing I'm going to do is to slash open this star line and transfer the excess at the waist dart to this star line like so. Okay, so now I'm going to have to tape this down. So at this point, this is what our pattern looks like. Then we'll go ahead to start cutting away the excesses at the shoulder area. So we'll cut it out, and actually this is the part of the dress. So that strap is what I'm trying to get now. I had to use my tape to hold the papers down so I do not rip any part of the pattern. So now I'm cutting out the strap. Okay, this is what it looks like. I'm going to be cutting this whole pattern on fold so you can see what it looks like properly. Please ignore any background noise. I don't know why this dog is barking tonight. So this is what it looks like on fold. Okay, with the straps. Okay, this is what it looks like on fold. And don't forget, we're also going to be cutting the back, so you don't want to click out, you want to wait and watch everything including the back. So I brought another fresh pattern paper, different color, so you guys can understand properly, and I'm going to be taping down this pattern paper on top of the fresh one. Okay, so having taped it down, we are going to be folding this over. If you've been following my channel, you should know that I'm a very big fan and I so much love dart manipulations. So we're going to be folding this over to meet with this one, just the way it was at the initial before we slashed and spreaded. So we're going to be closing up this pattern like so. I'm trying to close it up. You have to close it up to make sure that everything is in alignment, okay? The white paper meets each other exactly where they are supposed to meet before you slashed and spreaded. Remember to iron out this very part when you have sewed it. If you sew on your waistline, remember to iron out that very effect properly using your steam iron. So now I'm also going to be folding over this part. Remember, you're just going to sew the waistline. It's the waistline that you sew, that's what is going to hold it firmly. Then you iron it out properly with a steam iron. So at this point, this is what it looks like. I'm going to be cutting the excesses of the fresh pattern paper, the blue pattern. So we'll just be left with the white pattern, which is actually what we need. So I'm going to have to cut this out right now. And after cutting it out, this is what it looks like, you guys. Can you see? It's already forming. Okay, so I'm removing that part there that is still showing. So this is what it looks like right now. Can you see that effect, that design? Okay, and this is the strap. Please do not click out. The back is very important. You want to see how the back will come out. You want to see how the back will play out. So this is all for the front. Now let's head straight to the back. This is my basic body's back, right? So now we are going to be marking out the depth of our neckline. Now there are so many things you can do for your neckline for the back. You can decide to use a round curve or a deep round curve. Like instead of taking it upwards like I did here, you can decide to take yours lower, okay? You can decide to turn it to be inwards. Mine is upwards. You can decide to turn yours to be inwards. Now I went ahead to mark the midpoint of my shoulder, and I'm going to be connecting it to my bust point like so. Having done that, on that very line that I marked, I'm going to be marking 3 inches. Then I'll use my ruler to square out that 3 inches line to mark it across like so. So on the squared out line, I'm going to be marking my bust apart measurements. The exact bust apart you used to create your dart. So now I'm going to be connecting that bust apart line to the original dart leg to create a new dart. This is technically contouring the back so that it does not gap when you wear it, because it's a tube. So this is just technically contouring the dart so it does not gap, contouring the back pattern so it does not gap when you wear it. Now I'm going ahead to cut the neckline of my back. Like I said, you can play around with this neckline, okay? You can play around with the neckline, whatever you want. So at this point, I forgot that I'm supposed to mark out the very particular sleeve before I cut it out. So I had to do that now. Remember what we did for the front, 1 inch, then from the 1 inch, half an inch. So after marking the 1 inch and half an inch, which is going to give me ½ inch strap, okay, I'm going to be connecting it like so to the back. I'm going to be marking it downwards like so to the back, okay. So that very space now, I'm labeling up and down so I don't get confused. This very up and down, whatever, the ½ inch strap is the strap for the back. So as you can see, it was gotten from the actual pattern. So there's no need to say it is gapping or it is doing this. It was gotten from your original pattern. So this is the strap for the back. I'm trying to set this in place so I can mark where to fix the strap on the original or on the main or the tube pattern for the back, please. So I'm going to have to mark it. You want to be sure where you're going to do it, okay, where you're going to be fixing the strap on the tube pattern for the back. So I'm going to have to mark it. Also do that on your paper and also on your fabric. Now we'll go ahead to start cutting that contour for the back. Okay, remember it's extended upwards, so we're going ahead to cut that contour for the back, and that is what I am doing right now. Now at this point, you can decide to sew this as a 2-piece. You can decide to sew it, but here I decided to close it up and cut the back as a whole. Okay, I cut it as a whole so nobody notices that there's any joining. Okay, so I'm going to also show you that I went ahead to cut it out as a whole. As you can see, this is the pattern, and we cut it out on fresh pattern papers as a whole. And can you see those lines indicating where to fix the strap? So this is it right now, where you're going to fix your strap. Okay, so here is the back pattern. Now we're going to be combining the back and the front pattern together to show you how to sew it actually. So since here is the front pattern and we have the back pattern together, now let's head straight to how to join this together. Now assuming this is your fabric, the straps, you're going to be using your sellotape to hold it at the shoulder of the front and back, because you don't want to sew it. You're not going to sew it. So you're just going to use your sellotape to hold it so that you can cut this strap as a whole piece. No need of joining it at the shoulder region. I hope you understand. So you're going to be cutting this strap as a whole piece on your fabric as one. Okay, just do what to mark your notches to know where you're attaching to the front and where you're attaching to the back. Okay, so just mark your notches so it will help you on where to sew it during your sewing. So the strap now has gone ahead to form one piece. Same thing you'll be doing to the other side. I'm going to be using my tape to attach this like so. You have to be very careful while you're doing this so you attach it properly. Okay, on the paper, and also while cutting it on your fabric, be careful so you cut it out properly and everything will come out nice, trust me. So I'm going to have to tape it down on the shoulder of the front and the back so that we can have a whole piece and there is no stress of sewing it up on the sewing machine. Okay, just tape it on your paper before cutting it out on your pattern, on your fabric for the strap, so everything is like a whole piece. So having done that, now the next thing you're going to do is to fold over for the front. So this is what it looks like. You're going to be folding over for the front. Assuming this is your fabric, you've marked your notches. When you fold over, you can use your pin to hold this down, then head over to your sewing machine and sew it down on the waistline, please. Then of course, after sewing it down on the waistline, you go ahead and use your steam iron to iron out that very effect. Okay, that very dart manipulation effect, so it's very obvious. So I'm going to have to tape this down right now. And this is what it looks like after taping it down. So we're going to be joining the front and the back. And of course, just like the way we do for every tube dress, we're going to be joining it. You want to take this to your sewing machine, and after marking out your actual measurements on the number of inches you left for your allowance, you're going to be sewing this down like so. So after sewing it down, this is what my back is looking like, and that is the front. So the next thing we are going to do, of course, is to attach the sleeve or the straw. You can decide to sew up the whole back before you start attaching your strap, but I believe you've understood that after doing this, next thing is to sew up the back. So whichever way, you can decide to complete sewing up the whole back before attaching the strap, which is also the sleeve. So you want to attach the strap inwards and use your lining to cover it up. Okay, you have to attach your strap on the allowance you have for the neckline and use your lining to turn it over and cover it up, please. So also same thing for the back. Then I'm going ahead now to use my tape to attach it for the back. Also on the very space, on the notch where we marked that this is where the strap for the back is supposed to be. Please, if this video has helped you or if this video has educated you in one way or the other, do well to give this video a thumbs up, okay, and also share it to other sewing platforms where it will be needed, and I will really appreciate that. Thank you so much. So let's head back to the video. I've gone ahead to tape that down, and also same thing we'll be doing to this side. Just in case if you did not understand what I explained the other time, you're going to be sewing this down like so right now. Okay, on your sewing machine, you want to sew this down after you've marked out your measurements or you've removed the number of inches you used for your allowance. Then you're going to be sewing this down to your perfect shape and measurement. So I'm going ahead to sew it, to use my tape to hold it down right now. So like I said, for the strap you are going to be attaching it inside on the number of allowance you gave for the neckline. Let's say 1/2 inch. So this strap should not exceed that 1/2 inch of your neckline allowance. Your tube allowance should not exceed it. So once you attach it on that 1/2 inch of your tube, you also go ahead to do that for the back also. Then the way you use your lining to turn over your neckline so it comes out neatly, you're going to be using your lining to turn it over so it comes out neatly and everything will come out very fine. So I'm going to be taping this down here right now also. And of course your zipper is supposed to be here, but since we're using paper, I'll go ahead to use my sellotape to tape this down, indicating the zipper area. So I'm going to be using to tape it down, indicating the zipper area. And at this point we are done. Okay, so this is what it's looking like. If you can attach whatever you want to the lower part of it, you can decide to attach a flare or a straight skirt or a mermaid skirt. I have a detailed tutorial of a mermaid skirt. If you want to check it out, drop a comment in the comment section and I will give you the link. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.